This little figure is known as Homunculus, which is Latin for little man. While it may appear slightly grotesque, what it's portraying is a neurological abstraction of the physical body. In this lesson, we're going to look at the motor cortex and stimulating it with a technique known as Kirtan Kriya. So if we go back to our little man, these enlarged hands of his and the oversized fingers and the exaggerated facial features actually reflect how much of the brain tissue is used to service those relative parts of the body. So this weird disproportion is how the brain sees the body based on its distribution of electrical energy flowing through the central nervous system. To put that into perspective, we can go into a view of the brain's cerebral cortex, which is divided into areas that process human functions like our hearing, our sight, and things like our motor coordinations. So to understand the importance of maintaining these neural structures, this area highlighted in green is the right side precentral gyrus, which forms part of the primary motor cortex where the motor homunculus is being mapped to. And then next to this, we have the postcentral gyrus, which is responsible for mapping the sense of touch from the body. So these are rather important and complex functions, and I'm going to simplify things here, but pretend this small orange dot represents part of the system that controls the left side of the upper body. Then this long blue line represents the area that controls the left hand and fingers. So you can see there's much more of the brain being used to control a smaller portion of the body. This is symbolic of the homunculus within the brain matter, which actually shows us that our neural pathways see us quite differently than the way we actually see ourselves. Another way to picture what the homunculus represents is in this image. Here we see a cross-section of the motor cortex showing the facial features, hands, and fingers taking up an area far in excess of the rest of the body. So for the purpose of this lesson, let's relate this to how people work out in the gym. The focus there's normally on building the large muscle groups of the body, which is obviously important and can deliver a good looking physique and all that, but without offsetting this, it can create neural imbalances which may lead to fragmented dissipations of awareness. The ironic thing about that is it takes so much effort to build up these muscles in the physical body, which creates these imbalances. But the technique of Kirtan Kriya that I'm about to describe is very gentle and calming and works wonders for people struggling with all kinds of ailments, from anything like obesity to managing degenerative neurological diseases, or even working with mental health issues like depression. Hi, my name's Doug Wilson and I'm a yoga and meditation teacher. Since the studios are all closed at the moment, I thought I'd use the time to make some videos to represent some of the techniques we often use in class. And Kirtan Kriya is a really beneficial technique that's simple to do. One of the primary aspects is the way that we cycle our fingers through their polarity in the nervous system. And we simply do that just by connecting each finger with the thumb, and we do it in a cyclical way, starting with the index going through the middle, the ring, and the pinky, and we repeat that cycle. But as we do it, we bring in other elements to enhance the technique. If we go back to that image, thinking about that enlarged hands and the large facial features, we bring in other techniques like mantra to work with the cycling of the fingers. So what we normally do is we use the mantra Sat Nam, but broken into its phonetic vibrations or its phonetic sounds, which are Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And we just cycle through. And what that's doing, beyond just stimulating the motor cortex, is it's also getting into other attributes of ourselves, so more into the subtle energy of the psyche. So as we cycle through the mantra, we end up using 3 types of voice as well. So we start off for the first couple of minutes with our familiar humanized voice, so creating the vocal vibrations and feeling those vibrations internally. So out loud, sa, ta, na, ma. The second voice we use is a whisper, which is this voice of longing to belong. So a very passionate voice, almost a loving voice. And we cycle through with the mantra Sata Nama, but it's a straight whisper that sounds a little bit like this. Sata Nama. And then as we progress through, we go into using the final voice, which is the voice of the divine, so the silent voice. And we just then mentally vibrate at our core, still using the mantra, but sa, ta, nama cycling through the fingers, but in silence, so feeling those sounds. So it's the cyclical nature of this, the sum of all parts, so to speak, that has this profound effect on the psyche. And it helps to understand why exactly we're using this mantra and cycling the fingers in this way, because they represent a little bit more than just these physical and mental attributes of the motor cortex that we were just looking at. So to understand the mantra, those sounds sa, ta, nama, they're the phonetic sounds of the mantra, the seed mantra, Sat Nam. So Sat's the vibration of truth, Nam is our identity, and it's our identity to that truth. So Sat Nam, truth is my nature. And then those components are broken up into those phonetic sounds of Sa, Ta, Nama, which represent the cycle of life. So Sa is the vibration of birth from infinity, Ta is life, Na is death, and then Ma is rebirth back into that infinite nature. And yeah, just bringing all of that together has this really amazing impact on how it changes us. So now that we understand a little bit more about why we do this technique, I recommend going to the next video and giving it a try for yourself, and just seeing what it's like and seeing what it does for you. If you find the experience valuable and it brings something to you, I definitely recommend doing it for a long period of time. Leave a comment with your experience of the technique or subscribe to the channel, and I'll make some more videos while we're under this lockdown. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.